Namaste, Vanakkam, and welcome back to MidhaGuru. So today, we are going to see the solutions of exercise 5F from the chapter Quadratic Equations. Apart from that, I have a surprise for you in this video. In this video, we'll also be discussing a few questions that popped up in the last 10 years in the ICSE Board examinations. So please do watch the video till the end. Also, if you haven't yet watched the concept videos and the solutions of the other exercises of this chapter, please go to the description down below and subscribe to our channel. So let's begin the lesson now. So first, let's begin with the solutions of exercise 5F. The first question is solve the following quadratic equation. So the first one is x plus 5 to x minus 5 is equal to 24. So for this, first we need to find the product of these two binomials. So we know that a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So this will become x square minus 5 square, which is equal to 24. Which is x square minus 25, which is equal to 24. So we take the negative 25 to the other side of the equals and it becomes plus. So it is x square is equal to 24 plus 25, which means x square is equal to 49. Now to find the value of x, we'll take square roots on both sides. So we'll get x is equal to the root of 49. So x will equal to either plus or minus 7. So the values of x are minus 7 or plus 7. So let's move on to the next problem. The next one is 3x square minus 2 root 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now you remember that for factorization, we must factorize in such a way that the middle term is split into two terms such that the sum is equal to this b, that is minus 2 root by 6, and the product should be equal to 3 into 2, which is a positive 6. If you look at it, it is twice of root 6. If somehow we can make it root 6 into root 6 or minus root 6 into minus root 6, we know that will give us positive 6. So simply, we'll write the equation as 3x square minus root 6x minus root 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. Since adding both of them, we'll get minus 2 root 6, and multiplying minus root 6 and minus root 6, we get 6. So here I can take root 3 as common. I'll get root 3x as common, and I'll get root 3x minus root 2. And here I'll take root 2 as common, that is minus root 2. So I'll get root 3x minus root 2 is equal to 0. So from here we'll take root 3x minus root 2. So both the roots are equal in this case, and they are equal to root over 2 by 3. And those are the solutions for the given quadratic equation. So let's move on to the next problem. Now in the next problem, the equation is 3 root 2x square minus 5x minus root 2. Again, if you want to solve by factorization, if you look at this, 3 root 2 into minus root 2 gives us minus 6. So we must somehow factorize minus 5 such that the sum of the two coefficients is minus 5. The product will be minus 6. So look what I'll do carefully. I write 3 root 2x square as it is. Then I'll split 5 into 6x plus 1x. Since minus 6 plus 1 gives us minus 5, and multiplying them give it minus 6. So here I can take 3 root 2x as common. So I'll be left with x minus root 2. And if I take 1 as common, again I get x minus root 2. So if I multiply both by root 2, that is the numerator and the denominator, to rationalize the denominator, I get minus root 2 by 6 or root 2. And these are the solutions for the given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the next problem. Now in the next problem, we have an equation that looks like 2x minus 3 is equal to under root of 2x square minus 2x plus 21. So the first step will be just nothing but taking the square on both sides. That is, put the square here and also on this. So when I open the bracket here, the square and the square root get cancelled because they are inverse functions of each other. And here we have to do the whole square. So let's begin. we'll have 2x whole square, that is 4x squared, plus b square minus 2ab, which will become 12x, which is equal to, as I said, we'll remove the square root on this side, it will become 2x square minus 2x plus 21. So we'll bring all the terms to any one side of the equation. I'm bringing all these here. So we get 2x squared minus 4x minus 2x squared is 2x squared. Then we have minus 12x, and this becomes plus here, it becomes minus 10x. And then minus 21 here becomes minus 12 since it's plus 9, and this is equal to 0. So now we can divide this equation by 2. The entire equation will get x square minus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. So again now I have to split minus 5 such that the sum of the two coefficients is minus 5 and the product is minus 6. So I'll write minus 6x plus x. So x is either equal to minus 1 or x is equal to plus 6. These will be the solutions for the given equation. Move on to the next one. So now the next question says that one root of the quadratic equation 8x square plus mx plus 15 is equal to 0 is 3 by 4. Find the value of m, also find the other root. So first things first, we are supposed to find the value of this variable m. It is given to us that one root is 3 by 4. By root or solution we mean some value that will satisfy this equation, which means if we put the value of 3 by 4, we will take it for granted that it is satisfied. So we will say x is equal to 3 by 4. Therefore in this equation it will be 8 into 3 by 4 whole square plus m into 3 by 4 plus 15 is equal to 0. Let's see. 9 by 16, this will become 2 plus 3m by 4 plus 15 is equal to 0. So if this is 15 by 1, this is 9 by 2 and this is 3m by 4, we'll take the LCM as 4 of all the denominators. So this gets multiplied by 2, we get 18 plus 3m plus 60 equal to 0. So we have 3m plus 78 is equal to 0, which means m is equal to minus 78 by 3, which will give us so m will be equal to minus 26. Now we have to solve the quadratic equation as well to get the value of both the roots. You know, one is 3 by 4, we have to find the other root now that we know the value of m. So we'll just put it here, it becomes 8x square, as m is minus 26, we'll write minus 26x plus 15 is equal to 0. Now we have to split minus 26 such that the sum is equal to minus 26, well and good, but the product is equal to 8 into 15, which is 120. So we will do so here we will take 4x as common, we get 2x minus 5, then we will take minus 3 as common, again we will get 2x minus 5. So we know that one root was given to us was 3 by 4 and the other root is 5 by 2. So we solve the equation. First we substitute the value of one root to find the value of the variable m. Then we solve the equation to get our two roots. So let's move on to the next question. Now in this next question, we are supposed to solve the equation x square plus 3 minus 2a x minus 6a is equal to 0. We are supposed to prove that one of the root is minus 3. If you look at the equation carefully, it is x square plus 3 minus 2a x minus 6a is equal to 0. If you look at the coefficients of a and c, it is 1 and 6a. So the product is minus 6a. And if you look at these two parts carefully, if we separate them, they also become, when we multiply them, they also become minus 6. So we'll just say x square plus 3x minus 2ax minus 6a is equal to 0. Here we'll take x as common, I get x plus 3. Here we take minus 2a as common, again I get x plus 3. So you have x minus 2a into x plus 3 is equal to 0, from which you can get that x is equal to 2a or x is equal to minus 3. Hence, on solving the equation, we saw that one of the roots was in fact minus 3. So we verified that. Hand in hand, we also found the other root, which is equal to 2a. Let's move on to the next question. Next question says, if p minus 15 is equal to 0 and 2x square plus px plus 25 is equal to 0, find the value of x. So this statement here, p minus 15 is equal to 0, we'll use it to evaluate the value of. So now we get that p is equal to 15. So we'll substitute it in this equation, 2x square plus px plus 25 is equal to 0. We'll just substitute the value of p. It will become 2x square plus 15x plus 25 is equal to 0. Now we need to factorize this such, splitting the middle term 15, such that it adds up to 15 and gives us a product of positive 50. So we'll write 2x square plus 10x plus 5x plus 25 is equal to 0. So here we'll take 2x as common, we'll get x plus 5. Again we take 5 as common, get x plus 5. So we have 2x plus 5 into x plus 5 is equal to 0. So x is either equal to minus 2 by 5 or x is equal to minus 5. These are the values for the given quadratic equation. So let's move on to the next question. Now the next question says, find the solutions of the quadratic equation 2x square minus mx minus 25n is equal to 0 if m plus 5 is equal to 0 and n minus 1 is equal to 0. So these two statements here, that is m plus 5 is equal to 0 and minus 1 is equal to 0, we'll use to find the values of m and n. We'll substitute it in this equation and then we will find the solutions. So let's begin. First things first, m plus 5 is equal to 0 implies that m is equal to minus 5. Now n minus 1 is equal to 0, which implies n is equal to 1. Now we'll put these values here, we'll get 2x squared, substituting m, that is minus 5, it becomes plus 5x, minus 25 into 1 is minus 25 is equal to 0. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 25 is the quadratic equation that we are supposed to solve to get the values of x. So we'll begin. Now here I have to split 5x such that the sum of the coefficient gives us plus 5x and the product gives us minus 50. So we'll write 2x squared plus 10x minus 5x. Since adding them gives us plus 5x and multiplying them gives us minus 50. So we write, take 2x as common, you get x plus 5, and take minus 5 as common, again I get x plus 5. 2x minus 5 into x plus 5 equal to 0. So x is either equal to 5 by 2 or x is equal to minus 5. And these are the solutions for that given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the next one. In the next question it says, if m and n are the roots of the equation 1 by x minus 1 by x minus 2 is equal to 3, where x is not 0 or 2, find the value of m into n. So first we will form a quadratic equation out of this, then we will find its solutions. Both the solutions will be m and n, and we are supposed to find the product. First things first, in these two fractions here, we will take the LCM as x into x minus 2. So x minus 2 gets multiplied up here and x gets multiplied up here. So we have x minus 2 here minus x, which is equal to 3. So we cancel out x. We get minus 2 by x square minus 2x, which is equal to 3. We multiply this up here, we get minus 2 is equal to 3x square minus 6x, and we bring all the terms to one side, we get 3x squared minus 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now this is the quadratic equation we need to solve. On first looks, even if you look at it, 3 into 2 is positive 6. And there is no way that we can split minus 6 such that it adds up to minus 6 and gives a product of positive 6. So we solve this one by the quadratic formula. For that we first need to find the discriminant. Now with the discriminant we know is b square minus 4ac. So b being minus 6, we take the square, that is 36, minus 4 into 3 into 2, which is 6 into 4, that is 24. So now we apply the quadratic formula. Minus of b, that is minus of minus 6, which becomes 6, minus the root of 12 divided by twice of a, twice of 3 becomes 6. So we know that root 12 can be written as 2 root 3, as it is 4 into 3 and bringing 4 out, we get 6 plus or minus 2 root 3 by 6. So now if you remember, the question said that the two roots were m and n. So we'll write it as such. M is equal to 6 plus 2 root 3 by 6. N is equal to 6 minus 2 root 3 by 6. Now we are supposed to find m into, and that is 6 plus 2 root 3 into 6 minus 2 root 3, both by 6. Down here we have 6 into 6, that is 36. Simple as that. But up here if you look, it is a plus b into a minus b. So again it will become a square minus b square. Oh sorry, 6 into 6, that is 36. So we have 36 minus 4 into 3. Yeah, this will become 12 by 36. So we have 24 by 36, which is equal to 2 by 3. So m into n is equal to 2 by 3. So now let's move on to the next question. In the next question it says, solve using formula x square plus x minus a plus 2 into a plus 1 is equal to 0. So the equation is okay as far as the x square and x terms are concerned. It's just a constant that we need to sort out a little bit. We'll do that. We'll just multiply this and see what we get. So we have x square plus x minus, if we multiply a plus 2 into a plus 1, applying the x plus b formula, we get a square into a plus b, that is 3a plus 2, which is equal to 0. We are going to solve this equation using the quadratic formula. For that, again, we need the discriminant. Now the discriminant is b square, since 1 square is 1, and 4 into ac. As there is no a is 1, we'll just multiply 4 into c. As it is minus ac, it becomes plus 3a plus 2. So it will be 4a square plus 12a plus 9. Now, if you look at this, it's 4a square plus 12a plus 9. 9 is the square of 3. 4a square is the square of 2a. And if we multiply 2a into 3 by 2, we get 12a. So this d is nothing but 2a plus 3 whole square. Why I did that is because after this, when we go into the quadratic formula, we are supposed to find the root of this discriminant. So I am squaring it here. I am finding a suitable terms to write it a square of, so that we can do the square root easy. Now applying the quadratic formula, we know it is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant divided by twice of a. So we'll do that. Since the b is 1, we write minus 1 plus or minus the root of 2a plus 3 whole squared divided by 2a, since it's 2, we get 2. So x is equal to minus 1. We do plus. As we have removed the root, so it is plus or minus 2a plus 3 by 2. Now we get x is equal to minus 1 plus 2a plus 3 by 2, or x is equal to minus 1 minus 2a minus 3 by 2. Here we have minus 1 plus 3, that is 2a plus 2 by 2, which you get a plus 1. Or x is equal to, this becomes minus 2a minus 4 divided by 2 becomes minus a minus 2, or we can write bracket minus a plus 2. So these will be the solutions for the given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the next problem. The next question says, solve the quadratic equation 8x square minus 4x plus 14x plus 3 is equal to 0 when x is an element of integers and when x is an element of rational numbers. So we won't pay attention lots here. First we will try and solve the quadratic equation. Then we will move on to see what the values of the variables, that is the value of x will be. So we have 8x square minus 14x plus 3 is equal to 0. So now we can split minus 14 such that the product gives us positive 24. So we'll write 8x square minus 2x minus 12x plus 3 is equal to 0. As multiplying them, we get positive 24. So here we'll take 2x as common, we get 4x minus 1. Here we take minus 3 as common, again we get 4x minus 1. So 2x minus 3 into 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. So x is either equal to 3 by 2 or x is equal to 1 by 4. These are the values of x, that is the variable in the quadratic equation. Now it says when x is an element of integers. We know that the two values from this equation are 3 by 2 and 1 by 4. And none of them qualify as integers. So when x is an element of integers, we can say that x is a null set. It has no values. The second, when x is an element of rational numbers, we can write x is equal to 3 by 2 and 1 by 4. These are the solutions of the given quadratic equation. So let's move on to the next problem. Now the next question says, find the values of m for which equation m plus 4x square plus m plus 1x plus 1 has real and equal roots. So if you remember, the way to find the values for which m has that the equation has real and equal roots, we need to find out where the discriminant is 0. So we know that the discriminant will be equal to 0. So first we will calculate what the discriminant actually is. It is equal to b square minus 4ac. We know that. So here b is m plus 1 whole square. Now 4 into a being m plus 4 and c being 1. So we have m square plus 1 plus 2m minus we have 4m plus 16. So when I open the brackets, I get m square plus 1 plus 2m minus 4m minus 16. It will be m square minus 2m minus 15. Now according to the question, this equation has real and equal roots, which means that this condition will be true. So this discriminant, it is m square minus 2m minus 15, will be equal to 0. Now we'll solve this equation for m. Write 5m plus 3m excuse me, because minus 5 plus 3 gives us minus 2 and multiplying them give it minus 15. M minus 5 plus 3 as common, again I get m minus 5. So we have m plus 3, m minus 5 is equal to 0, which means m is either equal to minus 3 or 5. So for the value of minus 3 or 5 for the variable m, this equation m plus 4x square plus m plus 1x plus 1 will have real and equal roots. So let's move on to the next question. Now in this next question says find the values of m for which equation 3x square plus mx plus 2 is equal to 0 has real and equal roots. Same like the last one, the only addition being that we are also supposed to find the roots of the given equation. So we'll start like earlier. We know that if it has real and equal roots, the discriminant must be equal to 0. So we first actually we equate the discriminant, which is b square, that will be m square minus 4 times of 3 into, which is m square minus 24. Now we know that this discriminant is equal to 0, which means m square is equal to, m square minus 24 is equal to 0. It means m square is equal to 24. Now we'll find the value of m by taking the square root on both sides. So we have m will be equal to 2 root 6. Yeah, since it is 4 into 6, 24 is 4 into 6, and taking out 4 we get 2 and root 6. Yeah. Now we'll put the value of 2 root 6 up here, and then we will find the values. So we have 3x square plus mx plus 2 is equal to 0. It becomes 3x square plus 2 root 6x plus 2 is equal to 0. So we'll split the middle term into root 6x and root 6x, because the product of a into c is 6 and we have root 6 into root 6, which also gives us 6. So here we'll take root 3 as common. As root 3x as common, we'll get root 3x plus root 2. Right? And here we'll take root 2 as common, we'll get root 3x plus root 2. So we have root 3x plus root 2 into root 3x plus root 2, which is equal to 0, which means x is equal to minus of 2 root, that is minus of root over 2 by 3. And we know that both the roots will be same because it was given in the question, on the basis of which we solved it, that it had real and equal roots. So these will be the solutions for the given quadratic equation. Moving on to the next one. The next question, we are supposed to find the value of this variable k, for which this equation has real and equal roots. We'll just go about our business in the same way. We'll say that the discriminant must be equal to 0. Now the discriminant would be b square, which is 84 squared, minus, which becomes plus since this is minus, 4 into a into c. And this should be equal to, this should be equal to 0. So now we have 64 plus 16k is equal to 0, means 16k is equal to minus 64. So k will be equal to minus 4. So the equation will be 4x square plus 8x, and since k is minus 4, it will become plus 4 is equal to 0. So the value of k for which this equation will have real and equal roots is minus 4. Let's move on to the next one. Next question says, find using the quadratic formula the roots of the following equations if they exist. There's a clause here that says if they exist. First of all, we are going to find the discriminant. Because if you remember from the concept videos, if the discriminant is less than 0, we will know straight away that the roots are going to be imaginary. So we won't need to solve the equation. So for these questions, we'll first calculate the discriminant, see whether it is equal to 0, greater than 0 or less than 0, and based on that we'll solve. So now I know that the discriminant is equal to b square minus 4a. See, so I start by finding the discriminant. Now since b is minus 5, the square becomes 25. Minus 3 into 2 being 6, 4 into 6. So we have 25 minus 24, which is equal to 1. So since the discriminant is greater than 0, our equation is going to have real and distinct roots. So we'll just start by solving the equation. Root over d by twice of a. Since b is minus 5, minus b becomes 5, plus the root of 1 by twice of it, which is 6. So we get x is equal to either 5 plus minus 1, since the root of 1 is 1, and by 6. So x is either equal to 6 by 6, or x is equal to minus 4 by 6. So x is either equal to 1 or x is equal to 2 by 3. These will be the solutions for the given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the next one. Next equation says x square plus 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. So again, first things first, we'll see the discriminant, what it is equal to. We have the formula b square minus 4ac, b square being 16, minus 4 into a into c, which is 16 minus 20, which will be equal to minus 4. At this point, we'll see that the discriminant is a negative number, that it is less than 0. So we know that this quadratic equation has roots which are real, which are not real, but instead they are imaginary, as we will not be able to calculate the square root of this negative 4. So we won't solve this equation any further because it is not possible for us. So we'll move on to the next equation. Now the next equation, the next question says solve 1 by 18 minus x minus 1 by 18 plus x is equal to 1 by 24 and x is greater than 0. So simply here we'll just take the LCM, that is 18 minus 6 into 18 plus x. On this side of the equation we get 18 minus x into 18 plus x, and up here this 18 plus x gets multiplied here, minus 18 minus x, which becomes 18 plus x. So 18 and 18 get cancelled out. We have 2x by now. This is a minus b into a plus b. So we write a square minus b square, which is equal to 1 by 24. Now multiply 24 up here and this up here. We get 48x is equal to 324 minus x square. Then we bring all the terms to one side. We get x square plus 48x minus 324 is equal to 0. Now we'll solve this equation to get the value of the variable x. So we'll write x square plus 54x minus 6x minus 324 is equal to 0. Take x as common here. Take minus 6 as common here. So these will be the solutions, that is minus 54 or 6 will be the solution for this given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the next one. So the next question is x minus 10 into 1200 by x plus 2, which is equal to 1260. So we'll just start by doing all the mathematics. Here if we see in this bracket it is 2, which is 2 by 1. So we'll take the LCM as x and then we'll equate it. So this becomes x minus 10 into 1200 plus 2x by x is equal to 1260. So I take this x directly up there, we get 1260 x. Now x into 1200 is 1200 x, 2x squared minus 12,000 minus 20x. Now bringing all the terms to one side, that is we bring this one to this side, we get minus 1280. So this becomes 2x square minus 80x minus 12,000, which is equal to 0. Then I divide the equation by 2, I get x square minus 40x minus 6,000 is equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation I need to solve to get the values for x. Now since a into c is minus 6,000, I need to make the change here. So I'll write x square minus 100x plus 60x minus 6,000 equal to 0. Taking x common here, I get x minus 100. Taking plus 60 common here, again I get x minus 100. So the values of x for this given quadratic equation will be minus 60 or 100. Next, we are going to see the solutions of some problems from quadratic equations that were present in the last 10 years of ICSE question papers. In 2023, there was a multiple choice question. It said if 3 is the root of the equation x square minus px plus 3 is equal to 0, then p is equal to 4, 3, 5 or 2. So for this what we need to do is put this 3 into this equation. So 3, that is x squared, that is 3 squared minus p into 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. So this becomes 9 minus 3p plus 3 is equal to 0, which gives us 12 minus 3p is equal to 0. 3p is equal to 12, p is equal to 4. So the right answer will be 4. Now the next question, this was also from 2023, was this quadratic equation x square plus 4x minus 8 is equal to 0. So now we'll solve this question and see there's a trick. Every time the question says something like this, that is give your answer correct to 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places, you know for sure that you are supposed to solve this equation by the quadratic formula. So we'll first find the discriminant. Now d will be equal to b square, that is 4 squared minus 4 times of a into c. This is equal to 16. This will be equal to 32. So the discriminant becomes 48. Now we'll solve this equation by the quadratic formula. So x will be equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant by twice of a, which means x is equal to minus of b, that is minus of 4, plus or minus the root of 48 divided by twice of a, that is 2. Now again, For the square root of 48, we go back to the square root tables. Now we see that the square root of 48 is 6.9. The minus 4 plus 6.9 would give us 2.9 by 2. And minus 4 minus will give us minus of 10.9 by 2. So x will be equal to 1.2 going into 9 is 4, 5, which will be rounded off to 5. Or x is equal to minus 5.5. So rounded off to one decimal place, the values for x will be 1.5 or minus 5.5. Let's move on to the next question. Now in 2022, quadratic equations wasn't a part of the syllabus that was taken part in the board exams, and in 2021 they weren't board exams. So we move on to 2020. Now in 2020 there was this equation x square minus 7x plus 3 is equal to 0. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So we do the same thing. First things first, we calculate what the discriminant is. B square being 49 minus 4 times of a into c. So 49 minus 12, which is equal to 37. Now x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of this discriminant divided by twice of a. So x is equal to minus of b, which will become plus 7, plus or minus the root of 37 by twice of a being 1 divided by 2. So x is either equal to 7 plus, now plus or minus. Again, for the root of 37, I go back to my square root tables. It is 6.08 and divided by 2. So x is either equal to 7 plus, which will be 13.08 divided by 2. Or x is equal to 7 minus 6.08, which will be equal to 0.92 by 2. So x will be equal to 6.1054, or x is equal to 0.46. So these will be the values for the variable x in this given quadratic equation, 6.54 or 0.46. Let's move on to the next. In 2019, we got this equation, x square minus 4x minus 8 is equal to 0. And we are supposed to find up to 3 significant figures. So again, we'll go about our business the same way. We'll first find the discriminant. Excuse me. D will be equal to 16 plus 4, that is plus 32. This will again be 48. Now x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant divided by twice of a. Minus b being 4 plus or minus the root of 48 divided by twice of a being 1, it will become 2. So we have x is equal to 4 plus or minus. Again, for the root of 48, I go back to my square root tables, and it is 6.92 divided by 2. So either it will be 4 plus 6.92, which will be 10.92 by 2, or x will be equal to 4 minus 6.92, which will be minus 2.92 by 2. So x is equal to 5.46, or x is equal to minus 1.46. So these will be the values for x, or the solutions for x for the given quadratic equation. Moving on to the next question. Now in the board question paper for 2018, we had this question from quadratic equation that said x square plus 7x is equal to 7. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So we calculate the discriminant first and foremost. So first things, we'll adjust this equation. We'll bring 7 to the left hand side. We get 7x squared plus 7x minus 7 is equal to 0. So the discriminant is 7 squared, that is 49, minus, and since c is in minus, it becomes plus 4 into 1 into 7. So we have 49 plus 28, which is equal to 7, carry 1, 77. So the discriminant is positive 77. Now x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant divided by twice of a. So x is equal to minus of b, that is minus 7, plus or minus the root of 77 divided by twice of a being 1, 2. So x is equal to minus 7 plus or minus Again I go back to the square root tables. I get the square root of 77 is 8.78 divided by 2. So minus 7 plus 8.78 will give us 1.78 by 2. Or minus 7 minus 8.78 is minus 15.78 by 2. So we have x is either equal to 0.89 or x is equal to minus 7.89. So the values of x are 0.89 or minus 7.89 for the given quadratic equation. Moving on to the next problem. Now in 2017, the question was 4x square minus 5x minus 3, giving an answer correct to 2 decimal places. So we'll go about the same rituals. We'll first find the discriminant. Since b is minus 5, we get 25. 3 with this becomes plus. So 4 into a into c, which is 25 plus 16 into 3, 48. Which gives us 3 plus 73. Now x is equal to minus of b plus or minus the root of the discriminant divided by 2. Okay, so x will be equal to minus b, that will become plus 5, plus or minus the root of 73 divided by twice of a being 4, 8. So x is equal to 5 plus or minus, again for 73 I go back to the square root tables, I get it is 8.54 divided by 8. So on adding we get 13.54 by 8, and on subtracting we get minus 3.54 by 8. So x will be equal to so the values of x for the given quadratic equation are 1.69 or minus 0.44. Now let's move on to the next question. So in 2016, the question was x square minus 3 into x plus 3 is equal to 0. First things first, we'll simplify this equation. We get minus 3x minus 9 is equal to 0. Now we have the quadratic equation in the standard form. So again, we calculate the discriminant. B square being 9, and since c is minus, this becomes plus 4 into 1 into 9. So 9 plus 36, which is equal to 45. X will be equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant by 2a, which we can write as x is equal to minus of b becoming plus 3 plus or minus the root of 45 divided by twice of a, that is 2. So you have x is equal to 3 plus or minus. Now again for 45, again go back to the square root tables, and I get 6.71 divided by 2. So either x will be equal to 3 plus 6.71, which is 9.71 by 2, or x is equal to 3 minus 6.71, which is equal to minus 3.71 by 2. So x will be equal to 4.85, or x will be equal to minus 1.85. So the values of x for this particular equation will be 4.85 or minus 1.85. So let's move on to the next question. Now in 2015, the question was find the value of k for which x is equal to 3 is the solution for the quadratic equation that is given to us. Then we are supposed to find the other root. So first things first, we will substitute the value 3 into this equation and find the value of k. So we have k plus 2 into x square, x being 3, we get 9 minus k into 3 plus 6 is equal to 0. So we have 9k plus 18 minus 3k plus 6 is equal to 0, which means we have 6k plus 24 is equal to 0. K will be equal to minus 24 by 6, which is equal to minus 4. So substitute minus 4 into this equation. We will get minus 4 plus 2, which is minus 2x square. Minus 4 becomes plus 4x plus 6 is equal to 0. Again multiplying by minus 1, we get 2x squared minus 4x minus 6 is equal to 0, and dividing by 2, we get x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation we need to solve. So I'll split it into 3x plus x. since adding them gives us minus 2 and multiplying gives us minus 3 as a product. X minus 3 plus 1. Again we get x minus 3. So x plus 1 to x minus 3 is equal to 0. X is either equal to minus 1 or x is equal to 3. So x is equal to minus 1 comma 3. We know 3 was one solution, so the other solution is minus 1. Now we'll move on to the next year's questions, or rather saying previous year's questions. Now in 2014, the question was x minus 1 whole square minus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0, giving your answer correct to two significant figures. So now we have to find the values of x for this quadratic equation significant to two significant figures. So let's see. First we'll write the standard form. We'll open this square, we'll get x square plus minus 2x minus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. So we have x square minus 5x plus 5 is equal to 0. This is the equation we need to solve. So now the discriminant will be equal to b square minus 4ac. So the discriminant will be minus, this becomes 5 squared minus 4 times of ac. This becomes 25 minus 4 into 5, that is 20. So the discriminant will be equal to 5. Now we have x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant by twice of a. So we get x is equal to minus of b. Since b is minus 5, it becomes plus 5 plus or minus the root of 5 by twice of a being 1, 2. So we have x is equal to plus 5 plus or minus. For the root of 5, I go to my square root tables, that is from 1 to 10. Now I get the square root of 5 is 2.24 divided by 2. So x is either equal to 5 plus 2.24, which is 7.24, or x is equal to 5 minus 2.24, which will be equal to 2.76 by 2. So x will either be equal to 3.62 or x will be equal to 1.38. So these will be the values or the solutions for the given quadratic equation. Let's move on to the previous year, that is 2013. Now in 2013, the question was solve the following quadratic equation and give your answer correct to two decimal places. The equation being x square minus 5x minus 10 is equal to 0. Going about in the same way, we first calculate the discriminant. The reason why we always calculate the discriminant first is because we need to check whether the given quadratic equations has real roots at all. If it has imaginary roots, there is no point banging ahead trying to solve it. So that is why we always, by convention, find the discriminant first. So here we have b is minus 5, square being 25. And since c is minus, this term becomes plus. 4 into 1 into 10, which will give us 25 plus 40, which will be equal to 65. Now x is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of the discriminant divided by twice of a. So x will be equal to minus of b becomes plus 5 plus or minus the root of 65 divided by twice of a being 1, 2. So x is equal to 5 plus or minus. Again, for the root of 65, I'll go to the square roots of 10 to 100. So the square root of 65 is 8.06 divided by 2. So when I add 5 plus 8.6, I get 13.06 by 2. And when I subtract it, I get minus 3.06 by 2. So you have x is equal to 6.53 or x is equal to minus 1.53. And these will be the solutions for the given quadratic equation. So students, this was the end of today's video lesson and also the end of the chapter Quadratic Equations. If there are any collective doubts from the whole chapter itself, you can leave it down in the comments below and I'll solve your questions. Apart from that, you can also comment the lesson for which you want the video lesson next. Apart from that, I'd also like to request you to subscribe to our channel MidhaGuru, as it has teachers of different subjects such as science, SST, English, and they are of the highest quality. So please go to our channel down below, MidhaGuru, subscribe and join the MidhaGuru family today. And until the next video, I'll see you soon. Namaste.